Right, so moving on to the third nomination at the global level.
Yes. At the global level, there were many people who are known to me and who inspire me. But I chose a person who is so different, and there is nobody on earth who can be like Olutosin Oladosu Adebowale from Fistak town in Lagos in Nigeria. Because this woman taught me that nobody is a nobody, she told me. So I didn't understand. Excuse me, nobody is a nobody? She said yes, everybody who is successful thinks so good about themselves, and there are people who don't find value to themselves, so they call themselves nobody. So my vision is, there is nobody on this earth who is a nobody, everybody is a treasure. And when she said that, I found it was so powerful to give value to nobody and to tell them that you are not a nobody, you are somebody, you are a treasure. And this woman works with trash and she makes it into treasure and merchandise, and she sells it and earns an income, good income. And with that income, she builds centers for women where domestic violence and abused, battered women get training on life skills, get training on vocational skills. They come together to meet each other, to boost, their journeys, to help each other. And she calls it Star of Hope Transformation Center, which is in Lagos. And the NGO name, the initiative is called Turn Trash to Treasure, and this woman does wonders. I saw that the trash that she has chosen for her enterprise is something that we don't have any use for.
Mm.
What she does is she collects all the tailor waste, the small, small snippets that tailors keep
Mm-hmm.
off the fabrics. She collects them and she looks at those fabrics. She is somebody who reflects on what does the fabric color and texture emanate as an emotion, and then she makes the most wonderful uh, art. She makes a huge lion or an African woman with a child,
I
or
see.
or a heart made of thousands of pieces of tailor waste, and that heart is connected to several other hearts, and she calls it global sisterhood. And one of her art is on my living room, so I'm going to show it to you now. And these art sell in Florida, sell in California, sell in Europe, sell in Southeast Asia. And all the money goes to her NGO, and she uses every last dime of what she earns. This woman is not um, materially endowed in personal life because she chose all the income to go to her initiative. And that is what makes her my um, international figure, for the way she thinks, for the way she tells nobodies that you are not a nobody, you are a treasure. And by this exercise of using tailor waste to make it into art, which is there, her art is there in a center in Kerala called Kanthari. Kanthari is an institute of learning for women working in social work, and they come from different parts of the world to learn how to do social work, how to think out of the box, how to measure impact. So Kanthari is, a seat of learning for women. And in the reception of this institution is a big art from Olutosin, and she is a Kanthari alumni as well. And she is also a global change maker of a great level. She is an alumni of Coady Institute of Gender Studies from Francis Xavier University in Canada. She is a trained citizen journalist. She is a poet. Her poetry is, written in several greeting cards around the world and different websites. And she speaks simple language, but a language that will touch you. her poetry and her journalism is about simplicity and a woman talking from her village in Nigeria, and it connects to you. So I'm going to show to you a demonstration. There are times when you break down. There are times when you forget who you are, our low moments. And then
Mhm.
you look at Olutosin's art, and the words which resonate into you is nobody is a nobody. Everybody is a treasure. And you look at her art and you find your strength to start your day again, Monica, to
That's
forget your
awesome.
challenges, yeah, to forget your challenges, to forget your ill health. And that's what Olutosin has taught me. So I will speak more about Olutosin, but I'll have to move my laptop so that I can show you the art that occupies the central part of my living room.
Yeah, sure.
So this is,
Wow, such an inspiring story. I was like, okay, how do you convert trash into art?
yes.
Wow,
Can you
so that's
can you
a
see
frame.
this?
Yes,
Can you
yes,
see this, Monica?
yes, I can.
Yeah, I'll take you closer. And do you see the fabric pieces?
Yeah, so those are all the leftover snippets from.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Oh,
And
wow.
and this big heart
Yeah,
is connected to several hearts on the side. Do you see?
yeah.
Yeah.
This is beautiful.
Yeah, and the theme is global sisterhood. Your heart is connected to the hearts of millions of women around 190 countries so that we can build each other and encourage each other.
Right. Awesome. How did you meet her?
So I met Olutosin online on a social network of women leaders called World Pulse.
Mm-hmm.
It also has a website www.worldpulse.com, and it's a network of women from 190 countries, women like you and me, who want to reach out for solution, for sharing, even for a shoulder to cry on,
Mm,
friendships. But most of all, the value of World Pulse is not criticism, is not
mm.
is not professional proficiency through critical exercise. No, the value of World Pulse is to build each other up only by encouraging. I think that's powerful.
Right.
Yes,
Wow, I have to look it up. This is so
yes,
inspiring. Okay, so I'm going to bring up her picture so that we don't keep our viewer also in suspense as to who we have been talking about.
yes. So it's been 8 years I have known Olutosin, and I have seen her doing wonderful things on ground. That's Olutosin.
Wow, Oladosu Adebowale.
Yes,
Thagatchari from
yes,
Finding the Voices, and it's so inspiring to see. First of all, when you started talking about converting trash to treasures, I was thinking, okay, what kind of thing? But then when you said about art, it is so amazing, and then you showed the picture what you have in your house. That's so good. You have to take a picture and
yes.
with that frame, and we definitely have to share it again to our listeners and viewers.
Right. One thing I would like to add, Monica, is Olutosin is fully aware of the situation in Manipur. She is
Mm,
very interested. She has been following Sharmila for so many years. In fact, in many of our conversations, we discuss about what is happening to Sharmila, and she is, really empathetic and supportive, and she loves her as a woman. She's also aware of the socio-political situation in Manipur. In fact, the last time we spoke a couple of days back, we both were discussing about how to raise funds so that we both can go to Manipur and we can work on turn trash to treasure in Manipur, and introduce this concept. So though she is in Nigeria, she has a global view. For her, geographic boundaries don't matter. For her, she goes where women go, where women are there.
Absolutely. That's so inspiring. And I'm so proud of you to have connected to her and getting, like it's always nice, right? When we have global
Yes.
projects together, getting them to Manipur and, like somehow, because we get a different perspective, different way of doing things. And I think that's awesome.
Yes, the difficulties this woman has faced is so profound, and I respect her that even when these difficulties come, she endures them, keeping the larger vision in mind. This is something that I've learned from Olutosin. I come from a Fauji background and a middle class background, but with uh, certain standards of living. That was how I was uh, brought up. So when I met Olutosin, which was 8 years back, but then she came to India to work in India briefly with Mahila Samakhya, a woman group in Karnataka, and also with Kanthari in Kerala. So when she was here 4 years back, I was also in Bangalore, and we were not working together, but since we are close friends and we consult each other, I spent a lot of time with her. Now during this time, because she was working with Mahila Samakhya in Karnataka, which is a huge state and it is very hot and humid here, Mahila Samakhya had a program where she was visiting different villages in Karnataka and she was training women in Karnataka villages on how to make cooking bags out of cloth. So it's a
Mm,
cloth bag where you can cook. You can put rice or you can heat rice or you cook. There was a technology to it. And when she went there, I came to know she used to call me and then she used to come back after one village visit, take 2 days break, and again go back. So when she was coming back, she told me that in a village where she lived, there were bed bugs in her bed.
mm,
You know, so many bed bugs that her whole back was itching. And there was no light in her room. The bathroom was away. It was a deserted place or an old school. I don't know where she was put up, and I told her that why don't you tell the organizers that you are an international social worker and you deserve a hotel or a good room. And she told me something which will never, which will always stay with me. She said that Urmila, in your life, in your work, many times your working situation will be very bad.
mm,
During that time, there are two options you have. The first option is to tell your organizer that you're not happy with how you live. But when you do that, there is something which will break, and that is there is a possibility of your relationship breaking with them because they may be offering you their best, and then
mm.
we will tell them that the best is not good enough. What kind of impact will you drive together when among yourselves you have a particular standard and non acceptance? So that was something which stayed with me
So
till
she
today.
taught like about adaptability and, like
Yes,
being able to gel in, with whoever you are working with,
yes,
right?
yes,
Because you don't know, we
yes,
cannot be so judgy that may be the best, right? And maybe,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
maybe the other, I mean, we have seen, something better and you think that, oh, we should have that. So yeah,
yes.
absolutely. That's so amazing.
Yes, and we were together. We were walking through a street, and there was a very expensive restaurant. And because she was in India, and it's not every day that she comes to India, I wanted to give her a treat, and I call her sister. And I told her, Sister Tosin, let's go inside and have a meal. And then she was very excited because, as a person, everybody likes a good meal in a good ambience restaurant. So after some time, she told me, Sister, shall we not go? Then I told her, You don't worry about money, Tosin. I'll pay for it. I told her. Then she said one thing. She said, It's not a matter whether I will pay or you will pay because we are one. She told me that.
Mm,
And when she said we are one, that is a paradigm shift altogether. If you meet women and you and I, Monica, become one, our power amplifies and multiplies double fold, you know.
mm,
And she
definitely.
said, yeah, she said, let's save it for something bigger. So now I know why Turn Trash to Treasure has three big centers all made in only 1 year because of her prudent, wise, uh, saving attributes to a larger goal.
Right, absolutely. That's wonderful. You see, sometimes it's amazing, right? Like how you, it's almost like a bulb went in for you, right? Like all this
Yes.
while, like you're like, ah, in some la la land, and suddenly, like, you hear this very insightful thought. And I think it comes when you are ready to receive.
Yes.
Does
Yes.
that make sense? Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And, from these three people I have shared with you, there is one thing that I take away from all of them is when we interact with someone, we should not only interact very little, we speak only the bare minimum. You ask me, Urmila, what is your name? And I say, my name is, you ask me, what is your name? And I say, my name is Urmila Chanam. The bare minimum we tell. But that kind of communication fails to build the other person. You know, Sometimes we are shy. Sometimes we don't want to impose on people and be seen as somebody who wants to talk too much or be chatty. But trust me, if you are a person who wants to build another person in whichever capacity, you don't have to be a social worker. You don't have to be anybody from a social stream or a journalist. But as a person, if you want to render positive things to people, I think it's important to take the time and speak a little more. So I would rather say, when you ask me my name, I would say I'm Urmila Chanam. I am from Manipur, but I was brought up in different states of Manipur. But in spite of being away from Manipur, my love for Manipur is profound. And I would add three, four things that I believe in. So, what happens is, you know, uh, when I tell this to you, these 4, 5 sentences that I spoke to you, out of all these things, you may pick one thing which actually is common
Resonates
with
with
you,
you. Yep.
resonates with you,
Right.
you know?
Absolutely. Yep,
Yeah.
that's a very good point. And also, I think you spoke about speaking more, right?
Yes.
And to that same thing, I also want to add that also the art of listening and listening with
Yes.
your heart, right? Because sometimes I have seen, like in public spaces where we are all together, like, you would speak, and then when somebody is talking, people start looking at the phone, and you're not really paying attention. So I think the art of listening also helps connect, because when
Yes.
you listen, that's when the connection happens. So yeah,
True.
absolutely.
Absolutely. I agree.